Hey everyone, Lindsay here from HeartSpeak Health. This is episode 8 of the Weekly Speak, and in this week's episode, I am going to focus on my most recent blog post, which is about postnatal depletion. And this is, I would say, one of the most important topics that I've discussed. And the reason why it's so important is because it's something that happened to me, and I feel very strongly about the fact that it was at the root of my hypothyroidism. And I just want to make sure my volume is up. So, in the post, which if you go to heartspeakhealth.com/blog, I focus more on what you can do shortly after you have a baby to prevent postnatal depletion from happening or being as bad as mine was. So let me just first explain what postnatal depletion is. If you've had a child or if you have multiple children, this is especially important for you to understand. In our society, it's not really focused on or looked at as an issue. We just kind of, we look at childbirth as, it's a tender thing, it's a fragile thing. But when you look at the maternity care, the maternity leave, the different guidelines that surround what we do, how we treat women shortly after giving birth. Our country is probably, I would say, like the coldest about new moms. A lot of countries around the world automatically give a mother a year off paid from her job, or they give you an automatic leave of 12 months because a lot of other countries, they really take the postpartum period very seriously. And I guess what we have failed to look at over the years in our country, even though we have so many advances in modern medicine and there's so many wonderful things that, we have been able to do and that we continue to do and work on for the betterment of our people, we also, of course, have our things that we really need to improve upon. And one of those is taking the postpartum period seriously and really looking at what happens to a woman after she has a baby. And then, of course, after she has multiple babies. And postnatal depletion is simply when you have a child and after you give birth, your body is naturally very low in all of your vitamins and your minerals, and even in healthy fats for your brain and essential fatty acids. And there's a lot of things, of course, shifting and happening hormonally where you need extra nutritional support. But when we think about when we're pregnant, I hate to say it like this, but the baby is like a parasite, and it's taking nutrients from you, and it's depending on you for its health, for its life. And so, quite simply, if you're not getting the best nutrition, before you get pregnant and then during your pregnancy, you may experience postnatal depletion, you know, even during pregnancy and have symptoms of not having adequate nutrition. And then, of course, after having the baby, you may suffer from some more serious things. Now, I'm just going to kind of go back into time here and tell you my story. And again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I am an integrative nutrition health coach. And I became a health coach because of what I experienced in my own health journey. So everyone is going to have a different opinion, and you're going to read, different opinions and different viewpoints on pregnancy and postpartum health and why things happen and what happens to different people. All I'm doing is sharing my story, because if I can help one person, one woman who had issues with her thyroid or with her health after having a baby, then I'm happy. And that's all that I want to do. I just want to spread the awareness because I see so many women suffering and going through medical mysteries of their own and not getting any answers. So I'm just going to try to break this down and simplify things for you so that I can help you to not have postpartum issues like I did, or a thyroid issue. So if we go back in time to when I had my first child, I took a prenatal vitamin. I took an omega-3, and I did pretty well throughout my pregnancy in eating fruits and vegetables and getting adequate protein and healthy fats. I love food. I like to have a variety of food. I'll try anything. So, eating is something that's very fun to me and very enjoyable. And I love to try different things. And so having a varied diet and, taking vitamins and all that, no big deal. And I had a healthy pregnancy. Everything was great. My labor and delivery was not. I had a C-section. I had a really rough labor. It was very long. And so I had a C-section with my son. So one of the things that I didn't really focus on when I was pregnant with him was that my vitamins should be food-based, and that they should also not contain fillers or additives or sugar or wheat or corn, because all these different things that get added in to the vitamins, and then having chemical ingredients as opposed to food-based ingredients really changes the composition of the vitamin and makes it more difficult for your body to absorb. So if you can get a vitamin that's food-based, then you're really going to be much better off, okay? And if you go to my website, heartspeakhealth.com/supplements, I have a page that thoroughly explains the different supplements that I've taken and that I recommend. And again, this is just based on my own experience and what I've learned at IIN, which is where I was certified as a health coach. And so you're welcome to take a look at the supplements page on my site. And in the post, I mention that as well. So, that's one thing that may have helped. But I'll tell you what really I think some of the factors that were foundational in why my thyroid tanked, why my overall health tanked after I had my son. So I had a C-section, which is another thing that's highly underestimated. Surgery is just kind of looked at this casual thing, and it's really not that casual. Anytime that you open up the body, you're changing a lot of rhythms, and you're changing a lot of things that are happening. And specifically, if you've had any kind of an abdominal surgery, like a C-section or something else, that can be disruptive to the bacterial balance inside of your gut. And, it's just an extra challenge that's placed on your body. So depending on how sensitive you are, and depending on how many other things you're up against in your health, surgery can have quite an effect on you. So for somebody who's really strong and healthy, and they don't really have any issues with their health, then getting over a surgery may not be that big of a deal. But if you have some other triggers that you've come across in your life, or you're more sensitive to something like surgery, then it's going to take you longer to get over that. And so there was the C-section. And then after I had him, I breastfed him, which breastfeeding takes even more out of you nutritionally. Another factor was that I was under a lot of stress at that time. There were different things going on that had stressed me out, but I didn't always ask for help. I didn't take breaks when I should have. I didn't give myself grace when I should have. And, I was simply going along with maybe some things that I shouldn't have, and I should have, rather than try to be strong and tough about it, I should have said, you know what, I really can't do all of this. So could we please figure something else out? But that's all part of the, a lot of women, we tend to really push ourselves and stress ourselves out. And that's really at the foundation of a lot of our health issues. And then, of course, when you have a baby, you don't really get much sleep. And, things are hard enough as it is. So I just didn't really take all of that into consideration as much as I should have. I just thought I could push through certain things and keep going and pushing myself, which just it's not wise to do that. Now, of course, you can't just lay around on, some type of a fluffy cloud bed all day and be served platters of fruit and bone broth and, life is what it is, especially when you have other kids and you have a baby and there's a lot going on. But the key is when we're feeling that internal alarm going off, like, okay, I'm trying to do too much, rather than grab coffee and keep going, that's when we need to take a break and ask for help and speak up for ourselves and speak up for our health, which is actually the name of my free ebook that you get to download when you go to my site. If you sign up for my monthly newsletter, you can download my free ebook that's called Speak Up for Your Health. That's really funny then that I said that. So anyway, so there were all of those things. And as I was, having some stress going on, of course, the lack of sleep that new moms experience, in the position that I was in, because I breastfed my son for about 7 months, almost 8 months. And after I was done breastfeeding, I definitely lost like a lot of my awareness with my diet. And I started turning a lot to comfort foods, sugary stuff, coffee, and then fast food. And my husband and I both started just going toward whatever was easy, fast, fast food, quick and easy, and it wasn't healthy. And there were even things that, sometimes like when I would cook, and now I look back at like some of the things I was eating thinking like, well, this isn't bad. This is healthy. And no, it's really not. We were eating a lot of what I call dead food. So dead foods are foods that are highly processed or, it's in a box, it's in a package. Of course, like frozen vegetables and fruits, that's a little bit different. Or there's frozen foods that, once you cook them and everything, I mean, they still have their vitality because they were frozen or canned things, keep their vitality. But there are so many foods that we eat in this day and age, like different kinds of crackers or breads or pastas. And on the side, it says it has all these vitamins and minerals, so it has to be okay. But in all reality, it's not. It's a dead food. It's been pulverized. It's been broken up, put in a box, and you're eating it. And, that's like a whole other thing I could get into. I'm not going to open that up. But what I want to say about the food thing is that a lot of us as new parents, as new moms, that does happen where we get into a habit of going toward whatever is easy and whatever is quick because we're tired and we're stressed and we don't have the time or the energy to make that a priority. So in my post, I talk about a couple of things you can do that are fairly simple and, will help to build up your nutritional stores after you have a baby. One of them is taking the right kind of vitamins and supplements, which you do need. Women in their childbearing years need support. You need supplements. Okay, now which ones, what kind? Again, I go into that a little bit in the post and furthermore on my website at heartspeakhealth.com. The other thing is healing liquids. Now, as a mom, you know just as well as I do how hard it is to sit down and eat. It's a rarity. It's, when you're at the table, you're trying to feed the baby. Then you've got your older child or children who, I need this cut up, I need this open, will you get me that, will you get me this? And you're jumping back and forth and you're juggling, and your food, sometimes I don't even have food on my plate. My plate's sitting there empty, and then maybe eventually I eat, or my husband will relieve me and then I'll eat, and then I'll relieve him and then he eats, or whatever. You just do whatever you have to do. But the bottom line is that a lot of times we're rushing, and we're not in what's called rest and digest, which is a major issue with new moms and even dads, where you're not sitting down and eating your food and really chewing it, which I know that sounds simple and silly, but chewing, okay, we need like a chewing movement. We talked about that at IIN. People don't realize how important it is to chew your food. That's how you assimilate the nutrition from it. That process that goes on when you're chewing is so important. And as a mom, you know that you're like inhaling your food, right? It gets a little bit crazy. So because of that, it's so important to incorporate what I call healing liquids into your daily life. So things that you can lean on while we're in this circus rigmarole going on with our kids and not really having the time to sit down and eat as much as we'd like, is you can lean on things like bone broth. Bone broth is amazing. And if you can't make it from scratch, which it's really just gathering stuff, letting it simmer, or bringing it to a boil and then just letting it simmer for an afternoon or whatever, but if you can't mess with that, they make some great bone broth powders and concentrates, which I know I was talking about the dead food, but there are good options that have vitality as far as concentrates go for things like bone broth, or protein powders and things like that. That it's a little bit different when you're talking about these types of things. And so in the post, I have a couple links that go to a bone broth concentrate that I use myself and I recommend, and it just makes getting that nutrition easier. Bone broth is known for healing the gut. It's wonderful for your joints. It's wonderful for minerals, okay? Gives you healthy minerals. And it's just, it's an overall wonderful beverage to have on hand for your hormone balance and your overall health. And another one, of course, is making different kinds of smoothies. And I do recommend, it's cheaper and it's easier if you get like frozen fruits, or get bananas that are discounted at the grocery store and ready to be thrown out. Get those ones that are cheap, stick them in your freezer, and you're good to go. And then, of course, including a protein powder like hemp protein is fantastic, okay? And so smoothies are a great way to, you blend up all that nutrition, and you're drinking it, you're sipping on it while you can, and you're at least absorbing the nutrition that you need, the vitamins and the minerals. And then you can add things like dulse flakes or spirulina, which gives you the detox benefits and the iodine that we tend to run low on, women especially. We need iodine for healthy breasts, for a healthy thyroid, and so you can consider that type of thing as well. Herbal teas and herbal coffees are a great way to get a lift, get some comfort. It's hot, it's warming, and that's a far better option than caffeine, because caffeine can be very disruptive to your system, and it can increase the production of stress hormones. Okay? So, and then of course, water with lemon. In between all that, good old water with lemon to stay hydrated and to help clean out your system, okay, and balance the acid levels in your body. So, yeah, if you go to the post, I have links to all these different things I'm talking about. I go into more detail about what to, combine. Like I give an example of a good smoothie and just discuss things a little bit further. So definitely check that out, heartspeakhealth.com/blog. And, again, this is what you can do to prevent that depletion from happening and at least decrease the severity of it, because it's going to happen a little bit to some extent. And what I want to say is that the more research that's done with women who have had children, medical professionals, those who are researching this particular topic more, are, of course, sharing the fact and trying to spread the awareness that it can take years for women to recover from pregnancy and childbirth and breastfeeding. And so we really need to just look more at the fragility of women in their childbearing years. And as a mom, as a woman yourself, you need to give yourself a lot of grace. And when you're tired, you need to rest. And your consumption of food and drink, that's part of your self-care, and it needs to be taken seriously. And taking the time to take vitamins. And, if it's hard for you to be doing that, ask for help, whether it's your spouse or if it's your mom or your mother-in-law or your sister or somebody who's near you, a neighbor, someone from church, someone from a mom's group, whoever you can reach out to. Do not be afraid or shy to ask for help. People are more willing to help you than you realize. And that's definitely something that, I've experienced myself. So I know this is kind of longer than my usual videos, but this is a really important topic. And so the next time that, somebody blows off what your body has to go through and how long it really takes to recover from having a baby and doing all you do as a mom, just keep this in mind. And if you have any further questions or comments, don't hesitate to say something below the video or to reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram. My handle is @HeartSpeak Health. And of course, on the website, you can get in touch with me there as well. And I will continue this discussion of postnatal depletion. And it's something that I'm sure will become more and more popular. And hopefully, as a country, we will take more measures to protect our moms and to nurture our mothers through such a fragile part of life. Not everyone, we're all different, but there are a lot of us who are more sensitive to the toll that those processes take on your body. So you're not crazy. If you're not feeling well, and even if your child is 1 or 2 and you just don't feel right, you're tired, you feel like there's something wrong, I've been there. You're not nuts. You don't need an antidepressant. You just need to build up your nutrition. And I'm here to help if you need someone. Okay? All right. Have an amazing week, and don't hesitate to reach out. All right? Take care. All right, I'm signing off. Bye.